crypto markets have been boring these past few weeks. Overall, I've been trading between that 56, 60,000 mark. Everyone's wondering, are we going to be deviating to a lower point or shooting upwards in this cycle? Overall, based off of the charts and everything that's going on currently, we're probably on the verge of a breakout, but we also might deviate to a lower point before we see that huge breakout at the end in Q4, possibly in the, first quarter of 2025. But overall, I want to talk about the price action around Bitcoin, what everyone's saying is going to happen in the next few weeks around crypto, altcoins, as well as, a few price predictions around the markets, where we're going to be going, and possibly the prices we're going to see. So if you're new to the channel, go ahead and check out the rest of my content. I'm just a beginner in the crypto space, showing you guys my wins, my losses, documenting my journey, learning, showing my perspective, and just dissecting everyone else's perspective in the markets and giving you guys a clear coat on what's going on. So if you're new to the channel, go check out all my other content. But other than that, let's jump into it. So right now, currently, guys, if you look at the price action around Bitcoin, like how I said, these last few weeks we've been trading between that 56,000 mark all the way up to that 60,000 mark, currently sitting at around 58,000. Down here we have the RSI chart and the ATR. I don't really want to talk about these two in depth, just because if you don't really know, this just talks about the momentum around the selling pressure and everything else and the buying going with Bitcoin. But overall, right now, with what we're seeing, this is that sideways trade action. We did see, a lower low, but right now, currently, we started to shoot up a little higher this past week. But everyone's talking about how we could have a deviation based off of what's going on with the current price action around Bitcoin. Overall, we won't know until we start to see a big move, like, previously back around, at the beginning of August. And then, moving forward after we start to see some positive action in the stock markets, at huge events happening with, the US stock market and the Japan stock market. But overall, price action is pretty boring these past few weeks. Everyone's just wondering what's going to happen and if we're going to either see a deviation lower or, start to shoot up. Like how I said, crypto markets overall are just trading sideways for the last 7 days, last week, with the exception of a few coins obviously popping off. My altcoins as well, if we go ahead and take a look at my portfolio, everything isn't looking too hot. We did drop down a good amount, practically, a 2G loss from, the beginning of August, which is I'm not really too worried. I'm longing a lot of these coins, but I'm currently thinking about cutting some off the top because of what everyone's talking about, which we are about to get into. If we look at the banter bubbles of, let's get rid of that. Overall, if we look at the banter bubbles, a lot of the meme coins are taking hits right now. Top performing markets right now are L2s and AI sectors, which is why we're seeing, TON and a few of these other coins perform much better than, a lot of these meme coins like Doge, WIF, Pepe, Brett, and a few other ones. But at the end of the day, some of the top performers and top speculative projects are going to perform better than, the lower end projects that aren't really, derived from technology and really changed in Web3 and the crypto space. So overall, that's what we're seeing in the markets. Some red, some green. Mainly, we're seeing the red around meme coins, which is why you're seeing a lot of red in my crypto portfolio, because the majority of it is in meme coins. So I got to really think about risk, and you should be thinking about that too. If we jump into the first perspective that I was getting from Wizard of Soho, he's talking about right on cue currently with futures opening and stocks pumping. That what that means. Crypto is dumping, and it's unreal, but the weekend ends and everyone realizes it's time to full port stocks and dump their crypto. And usually whenever we see the stock market start to perform really well, everyone tries to get out of the crypto market just because it might not be performing as well, just because there's more risk, of course, with crypto and everything like that. So we might be seeing that slight pullback right now, but we'll jump into a few other perspectives on the market based off of previous price action and currently what we're seeing. If we jump into the next one, Mags, he's talking a little bit about this wedge that we're currently in. And if you guys don't really have too much information on it, you don't stress yourself up about it too much. But currently right now, if you take a look at the wedges and the ranges we've been seeing currently, when we see a broadening wedge like the one that we're seeing right here, there is usually a breakout just because we see this deviation going down, and from there we have a point where we get some release on Bitcoin, a little bit of breather room. And he's saying that based off of what we're seeing on this zone overall of this wedge, he thinks that we're going to be breaking out in the next few weeks or so. just because, you know, every time we start to test that resistance line, we drop down. But at the end of the day, usually whenever we see, you know, this broadening wedge, we can see a breakout. So based off of this price action that, you know, Mags is talking about currently, he thinks that we can break out. And also with the RSI is just practically the momentum with this, you know, assets overall. It's trading, possibly can shoot up. It has room for that. So he thinks that we're going to be seeing that. I honestly am not too sure. Like I said, if we go back over here, you can see how, you know, on the RSI we do have some room to blow up, but a deviation to the lower point is still possible before we start to shoot up. But only time will tell, and this broadening wedge is, you know, kind of a sign that we might shoot up, but nobody honestly knows. Only the price prediction can tell. We jump into Ionic XBT. I love Ionic. You guys should go follow this guy. Overall, he's giving you some good alpha. He talks about how to time the exact top of the cycle. He said it's been done in 2021 and in 2018, and it will do it again in this 2024 crypto bull cycle. The metric is something that no one really talks about, but it's proven accurate each cycle. And the best thing about it, it's very simple and only takes 2 minutes to read. He talks about go to Glassnode, check the MVRVZ score, which is apparently an on-chain metric that called the top every time. When the Z-score hits red, that's your sign. Every single cycle, it's been spot on. And guess what? Right now, it is closer to the undervalued side. So look, let's go ahead and take a look at this chart real quick. And apparently, this MVRVZ score predicts whenever, you know, we see the top and peak for, you know, Bitcoin. Overall, if we look at the 2018 cycle, it predicted, you know, around that time when they saw the peak, as well as in the 2021 cycle. As you can see though, each of these cycles, it lasted in the red shorter and shorter. So right now in 2021, we didn't see that huge peak. And everyone in this cycle thinks we're going to be hitting around 100K, which, you know, is still possible, but we honestly don't know. Ionic is talking about how possibly we aren't going to be seeing 100K Bitcoin. Maybe we will. But whenever we hit this red zone, that's the time to get out. And based off of the red zone that we're seeing, it's going to be around that 90K mark. But it honestly all varies on your price predictions and commitment in the market. And he's also talking about, you know, one of the main things is that at the end of the day, when it hits that red is whenever you're going to want to sell. But right now, it's closer to the undervalued levels, which is down to this green mark, which is when everybody should be buying. But no one really pays attention to these charts. At the end of the day, you got to also pay for these charts on Glassnode, so you can't just go see it for free. But seeing this information, you know, I'm going to honestly go look into Glassnode and get this information so I can have an understanding of what's going on in the markets. But he believes, you know, based off of this and what's going on, we're going to be deviating lower, you know. It is close to the undervalued levels, reflecting a great buying opportunity is near. It's not a secret, but most people won't even bother to look. When it flashes red, that's when you need to sell. I will alert you, no emotions, no guesswork, just proven strategy. Simple, right? At the end of the day, guys, you have to do your own research, but this chart is one great one to pretty much get a good understanding of what's going on in the markets and if you should be accumulating or, you know, starting to sell. And honestly, based off of this and Ionic's predictions, he thinks we're going to be deviating a little bit lower. And let's talk about, you know, a few other predictions on that deviation. So Rager, we talk into what he's talking about personally. He thinks Bitcoin will be a little lower than its current price before the end of September. He thinks stocks will end up pulling back late August or September, and Bitcoin pulls back with it. The last 4 years, September has been a red month, especially in 2020, last Bitcoin halving and the election year. So after August had a major green month, pretty much, you know, September had this, you know, red month, and we're on the cusp of that. So, but in the 3 years prior, 17, 18, 19, September was green. So it's pure speculation what will happen. But unless Bitcoin shows some real strength in the coming weeks, he doesn't think, you know, we'll see lower if stocks decide to pull back prior to Q4. In 6 months, all prices will be higher in his opinion, which obviously past the presidential election and in 2025, once we have more liquidity and everything like that, of course, we're going to be seeing higher prices. But in his opinion, even with a pullback, he thinks any exposure now will pay off, and the key is to not stare your portfolio. You need to, you know, step back and, you know, be willing to sit on your hands during this time. And if you click into the chart and see exactly what he's talking about, we're currently in this point where, you know, we can see a little bit of a deviation towards the lower point before we start to see a rip upwards, which would be around this area. I'm sorry if you can't see my mouse, but I'm pointing. If you look at these two black marks, not on to the right, but to the left over here, you can see, you know, the green and then the red and then the deviation before the shoot up. And that's pretty much what we're seeing in this cycle currently. So it's all speculation, but based off of what we're currently seeing, we could see a deviation lower before we start to shoot up. If we move into price predictions around the halvings and what we have seen previously, I saw this great post from Julio Moreno, Bitcoin price performance in halving years. 2024 performance really is similar to the 2016 and 2024 cycles so far. If the price is going to increase, it will be in Q4. So if we look, guys, you can see, you know, obviously from day 0 in January all the way to the end of the year in December. If we see the price action around Bitcoin and other assets, we don't see a crazy rip until around the 325-day mark, 350, and we start to see a huge rip, which is usually in Q4. So right now, you know, in August, moving into September, the end, which is moving into Q4, that's whenever we're probably going to see that huge rip. But we still see deviations before we see, you know, a huge rip up, and that could be possibly what's going to happen before. Everyone is also talking about how we can all suddenly just rip up and leave everybody in the dust that thinks we're going to deviate lower. But this is where you got to do your own predictions and figure out what you really believe is going to be happening. Another chart showing pretty much the price predictions around Bitcoin and previous cycles. 11 to 2013, you can see the gradual increase with a few deviations. Same thing from 2014 to 2017, from 2018 to 2021, and currently in 2022 to 2024, this is the cycle mark that we are seeing. So we should be seeing, you know, a higher leg up nearing the end of 2024, moving into the beginning of 2025. But of course, we won't see this until the huge catalyst events like presidential election, the Fed cuts, multiple things that are coming into action and fruition, and also things that aren't even talked about right now. But with all these events and all these, you know, price predictions around if Bitcoin is going to go down or shoot up, what currently should you be doing? I saw a great post from Miles Dutcher talking about his, you know, mindset on the markets and currently what you should be doing. He says, yeah, the market is boring, but this is honestly the best time to plan your strategy, redefine your trading system, rebalance your portfolio, research your new protocols, try new products, build products. These conditions are a gift for those eager to learn and improve. And guys, during this time, I have learned so much about the price action around Bitcoin, how to read certain fundamentals, candle chart patterns, all these different things. And I'm wondering, you know, if everyone else is doing the same. Right now is a time of accumulation, a time when you should really be taking advantage of what's going on and also trying to learn about what's possibly going to be happening. I'm honestly going to be drawing a few different lines tonight around Bitcoin, the price action around Bitcoin, to see exactly if I can start to get a grip of what's currently going on. And that's what you should be doing too, learning about the RSI chart, learning about the price action around Bitcoin, the news events that are currently going on, the top performing sectors in the crypto space, what all these top people are saying. You know, some people are saying the complete opposite, that, you know, we're going to be, you know, going and deviating lower just because of, you know, what we're seeing currently on the price action and in this crypto bull cycle. Others are saying that we're possibly going to be shooting up based off of, you know, the current wedge patterns that we're seeing. But it all varies on your experience in the markets and what you currently are doing. Like I said, I'm just a beginner in the crypto space. I'm currently accumulating in my portfolio, dollar cost averaging. I think we're going to be deviating lower before we start to shoot up. But that's why I have money on the sidelines right now, just waiting to, you know, maybe make another play. I'm also thinking about cutting some of my portfolio off the top, some gains that I have, just because if we deviate lower, those altcoins that we have are going to shoot down, especially if you're invested in meme coins, because, you know, meme coins right now are not performing the best as we saw on the banter bubble. So overall, price action around Bitcoin is trading sideways. We won't know until Bitcoin makes a definitive move, either, you know, a deviation to the lower mark or possibly a pop off to a higher price point. Overall, right now is the time where you should be taking advantage of this time, learning about what's going on, keeping up with the price action around Bitcoin, keeping up with the catalyst events, what everyone is talking about, and also reevaluating your crypto portfolio and the bets that you're currently making. I'm making, you know, some good bets right now. I'm honestly down with my crypto portfolio, as you currently saw, but I'm really committed into the crypto space. I can't wait to see the bull market take off, and I'm glad that I'm taking advantage of the time right now by learning, getting perspectives, and also creating my own perspective. But guys, that's currently what's going on in the crypto markets, what the sentiment is around Bitcoin, what is currently going on with Bitcoin, and overall the effect it's having on altcoins and everything else. I currently am taking advantage of this time as well as I think you should, but you know, some people are getting out, selling out, becoming exit liquidity. Sorry, just hit the camera, because of what's going on currently. But overall, that's what's going on in the crypto markets. If you guys are new to the channel, go ahead and check out the rest of my content. I'm just a beginner in the crypto space, showing you guys my wins, my losses, keep you guys updated on the sentiment around the crypto space, dissecting everyone's perspective, and then, you know, coming to my own perspective based off of what's going on. Right now, everything's trading sideways. It's pretty boring, and I think you should be taking advantage of this time to evaluate your current positions, keeping up with everything that's going on, and learning as much as you can. Like how Miles Dutcher said in that post, I love it. These conditions are a gift to those eager to learn and improve. And if you're learning and improving right now, guys, you're going to be ahead of everyone else whenever we start to see that crazy price action at the end of 2024 in Q4, or even at the beginning of Q5, even the middle of Q5 possibly. But I'll keep you guys updated on the crypto markets, on my crypto portfolio. Like I said, check out the rest of my content. I'm just a beginner in the crypto space. I really appreciate all the support you guys are showing me. And overall, I really look forward to becoming an expert in this space and making some crazy gains. But you guys will see this. I'll keep you guys updated. I drop daily content every day, so stay tuned, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.